Hello and welcome to the short Vort on Parshas Vayakhel from Chamishi to Shishi. Today I'd like to do something a little bit different and respond to a Facebook posting from a friend and see how that connects to this week's Parsha. So the friend wrote something about don't judge religion by religious people. So I'm not sure what prompted that, but my first response was something I believe I learned from Rabbi Beryl Wine, and if he didn't say it, it's something he would say, is don't confuse Jews with Judaism. Just because Jews act a certain way, that does not mean that that's what Judaism wants. After various exchanges, this friend made the comment again later on and discussed that we shouldn't let ourselves define religion by the people or even the leaders, because when we find out that perhaps they aren't really practicing what they preach, or they're preaching contrary to what we believe God wanted. So that really is something that's hinted in the Parsha in Chamishi to Shishi, which is perfect for us to discuss. So it says in the Pasuk, it says, Vayas B'tzalo es ha'aron atzei shitim, amasayim v'chetzi arkov, ama v'chetzi rachbo. Betzalel made the aron out of shittim wood, and it was 2.5 amos its length, and it was an amma and a half its width, amma v'chetzi kamaso, and an amma and a half its height. So all these are not round numbers of 2 or 1 or 3, but always ending in a half. And then in Pasuk Beis in Perak Lamed Zayid, it says v'yitzapehu zahav tahar. They covered this wood for the aron with pure gold, mibayis michutz, inside and out. So here we see a bunch of allusions, and the Aron is talking about Torah. So one explanation that we can learn a lesson from here is that unlike other items in the Mishkan, only the Aron was covered with gold, mibayis michutz. And why was that? Because talking about as a parable to a Talmid Chacham. The Talmid Chacham has to act. His inside must be the way he presents himself at the outside. It's not enough to pretend to be righteous, but you actually have to have righteousness. You have to practice as you preach, as my friend would say. And so that's why mibayis and mibachutz, why covered with gold, so the purity has to be the same way inside. And then there's another a lesson here, and that's with the halves, that the Talmid Chacham should always consider himself to be incomplete, always lacking something. He can never be satisfied where he is, and he's always got to be trying to complete himself, to complete his objectives and service in the community. And a third explanation with the Baal HaTurim says that also it's a symbolic of the Talmid Chacham, that the Talmid Chacham must maintain his humility and only see himself in half measures, that he has not yet lived up to his full potential, which is why we call a Talmid Chacham not just a Chacham, but a Talmud, someone who's always constantly learning. And so I do agree that people, the leadership in particular, always have to act in the proper way. But as far as Jews and Judaism, I think we can see that we actually perform very well. There's no other religion has any types of gemachs and self-help communities. We have gemach for weddings, we have gemachs for umbrellas, we've got gemachs for money, we've got gemachs for everything. We're such a people of chesed. And recently I had an interesting perspective confirming that even other people, despite all the bad incidents that have happened and the black eyes we've been getting in the media, people do see a certain specialness of the Jewish people. At my job, I was talking with the cleaning lady who comes after 5 o'clock, and she's someone, she has a Russian-sounding accent, so I always wondered if she was Jewish or not. And I found out that she's not Jewish, she's Albanian, but she's often confused as being Russian Jewish, and there's even a reason why it's interesting that they would confuse that. But what she was telling me about, she really likes the Jewish communities, that she sees the Jews that live near her in the Jewish communities, and she's in Queens, that they do things as a family. They're a family, they go shopping together, they go to the what are really the Shabbos parks together, and they don't scream at each other. While other neighborhoods, they act crazy and then they don't dress properly. And she appreciates what the Jews represent, and she realizes how we act. And she also told me about these Sunday sales, yard sales, and that her friends would tell her, go tell them you're a Russian Jew, they'll give you a better price. And she would never be comfortable lying, but she did respect the people, and she'd always dress a little bit more proper when she'd see the Jews. But here's someone who recognized the fineness that we represent as the Jewish people, even though sometimes we see more publicly the bad sides. So thank you so much for listening, and keep a positive spirit. Share this, like it on Facebook. Thank you. DevarMan2 on YouTube.